Awesome. So Candace, we kind of skipped you in the introductions because as we do our introductions, we love to have you really um, be able to dive in. Would you like to start with an introduction and then
Absolutely. I actually introduced myself in just a slide, but my name is Candace Medina, and one of the first things that I always ask is this great question, what's brewing? And yes, I made it a hashtag. We must be able to do that as well. But it's just, I totally believe that what you put into this life and business is what you get out. And so your choices and the power of your choices are very important when we're looking at these different things. And so, as you notice, I love coffee. And so it's usually coffee in my cup. But just wanted to do that. I've actually made it a part of my business, Coffee Coaching and Connections. It's just part of what I do. For me, it's about connection and people. And so I want to welcome you and thank you for exploring this time. I believe we always have a choice, and I try to really team with my clients to create customized solutions from concept to creation for you, your life, and your business. And there are times when we focus on our life or we focus on our business and we're not really sure. We've compartmentalized to some degree. You know, we had a business life and we have, our family, we have all these kinds of things. Then in the last 18 months, that's all kind of collided. And we recognize we're still all the person in the tights in all of those areas. And so I love to focus on the power of our choices. So I'm your coach and trainer today. My name is Candace Medina. I do have 20 years of training and coaching experience. In a former life, when I was 2, I was in corporate America as an executive assistant. And also the last 2 years, I ended up in HR. And so I started out with 350 people in 2 locations. And 2 years later, I had almost 5,000 people that I was responsible for in 5 locations and traveling. Yes, Ludi, I see your eyebrows go up. Yes, indeed. We'll talk about that. I'm not quite sure how I had my hands around that myself. And I had some other things going on. I'm also a keynote speaker and an author, and I've been a BNI member for 12 years, and it has changed my life, I will say that. And I'm a director as well. Nothing in my life or my business is the same since joining BNI, and that's a good thing. I've met incredible people like Liz that have been amazing in how they made an impact in my life and my business. So I know we're welcoming just a few more people into the room,
Well,
and I'm really glad to have all of you on.
I just muted myself and no video. It's amazing how some people will go, oh gosh, free shipping, and then they'll spend like
Robin?
$49 in order to get that free.
Robin, you're not muted.
They just don't want to pay for shipping.
Robin, honey.
Okay, well, I will text.
Candace,
I'll
can
text
you
her,
mute her?
give her a shot.
Candace, as you are the host,
I got it.
you can do it.
No worries. All right, so welcome.
Sorry about that.
Welcome. I'm glad to have all of our new people joining us. And so then I just wanted to talk about the power of our choices. Have you ever really felt stuck between what you imagined your life or your business to be and the choices that have actually created what you have now? And some of us feel like in some ways we've had glimpses or great success in some places, but hitting the wall in others. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, and I would love for you to just kind of explore this a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you my story as well. I think it does. We can have all the great planning in the world, but if we don't actually make the choices that create those realities, we get what we ask for, not what we intend. And so unfortunately, some of us are not always asking as specifically as we should. So just sharing that, where are you now? There are so many of my clients that are actually living in the past, nostalgia or regret, They're actually looking at, some people actually believe that their best part of their life has happened in the past. Or they are lamenting over what they can't change. And I believe the past is great information for the lessons that we need to learn. My biggest thing is to learn the lesson so I don't have to repeat it. The future is another part where we can get stuck in worry and anxiety. I am in no way talking about planning. Planning is absolutely important. You always plan forward, always do that, but you can't live in the past or the present, or the future. The only place you really have the power of choice is in the present. But being present in the present is not as simple as it sounds. And so I want us to just kind of think about our thinking. And because most of you are practitioners, you see and hear a lot of different things from your clients. The biggest lesson I had to learn as a practitioner is that I love to help people, but I am not a SEAL team in a Kodiak dinghy. I am a lighthouse. So I stand and I shine the light and people make their own ways. How many people have had that great intention and then still went out to rescue someone? Oh, just me? No, okay. We've all done it, right? And no sooner do you get them out of the boat, you dry them off, they're very grateful, you put them there, you get in your lighthouse, you turn on your light in their exact same spot because they either didn't make the right choices, they love being rescued, or different things. And so we want to be able to say, hey, what am I doing that is empowering or being able to help people? What's the power of my choices and how am I living my message forward? And that's something that I definitely have to do. Self-care, self-discipline, and some of these different things are the only gifts that you can truly give yourself. So being present is a present for you and the power of your choices. So I often ask my clients, what do you see? We can be standing in the same garden and some people will say, oh, I can smell the coffee, I see the flowers, I see the sunshine, I see beautiful, or I can almost smell the fragrance. Others are going to say, I see weeds and bugs and manure. Now let's be clear, life will always give you manure. And if you are an optimist, or at least a progressionist, you can say we all need a little manure, it all makes our flowers better, right? It just happens that way. But there's it depends on what you see in life. Some of us will have to work a little harder to see the flowers and the bumblebees. Some of us are so busy chasing and trying to help and do different things that we sometimes leave ourselves off our own list. And that's just a little tidbit for later. But knowing what you see, what your clients see is important. It's a starting point. So what you're not changing, you're choosing. Wait, what? Read that again. We all know this. And sometimes it's not always our first reaction to live into that powerful truth. We can get caught up in comparison. We can see opportunities, but not fully step into them, be afraid to even begin, or step tentatively in them and miss the full scope of what could have happened. And that's the hesitation of the frozen state. Some of us have a lack of vision of where we really want to be in life. What I heard, I think a little bit from Sharon, is that she's been in business for a while, but it's her just peeking and standing in the sunshine and letting people see her socially, right? She's just doing this new website. I love that. I always say get functional and then get fancy. And so that's just, I've been in business for a long time. I just rebranded myself. It's all okay. And let yourself and your clients see you progressing forward. We have to grow as practitioners and coaches as well. And then some of us are afraid on limited return on investment. If I do all of this, if I step into the sunshine, if I make these choices, what kind of return I'm going to get? If you don't take that chance, if you don't step forward, you will never know. And so for such a time as this, some of us were put in these exact positions in order to make the choices and to actually help our clientele. I had to realize it wasn't about me, it was about the people that I needed to serve. And all of that is great, wonderful head knowledge, and we can even let it fall to our heart. But what happens when there's unexpected life or business path? When we have that little pesky thing that happened when we have the pandemic, or our industry shifts, or someone in our family gets ill and we have to become a caregiver, or you're in that sandwich generation, you've got your parents and your children still in the house. All of those things does make an impact on how you're able to make the choices that you do. But again, what you're not changing, you're choosing. And so I always am going to promote that there is a head, heart, mouth connection about the reality that we create. And so if you, wherever you are today, if you're not happy with the choices or where your life or your business is right now, it's around changing what we're putting in our mind, allowing to filter to our heart and what's coming out our mouth. Because whatever's in there will come out, and that will create our future. So choose wisely. What you put in to your life, your business, and to your cup is the only thing that you can put out. So it's about looking for what are some of the things that we love to do. Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. I have to say I have a business girl crush on her. She's a researcher and just gets to the heart of people, not what they do, but why they do it. And I love that because we all have a story. All of us have different things in our life that have shifted us forever. Being grateful, being able to look for the roses, looking for what's working in our lives, and then taking the time to reflect and do that self-care. So I'm asking you to think about what you want in your life, what you want to say yes to, what you want to say no to, and then taking the action as of today forward. Here's where we're going. And so let's do that. Let's explore. And so I'd love for you to put pen to paper and just make a quick list of 3 things that you feel makes up your best life, whether that's business. What makes up your best life? 3 quick things. And then 3 things you want to say yes to. For some of us, we say yes to everything. Does that make the most time, energy, and space for what we really want to create? And then I'd love for you to actually put 3 things you want to say no to. And for some, it's hard to say no. I will say no is a complete sentence. And with life, age, and perspective, that gets easier, I will definitely say. All right, and so I want you to think about this list, and I will say each one of these things is actually a exercise that I do with my clients, and I ask them to make a list of 10 of each thing, right? And so the first 1 to 2 to 3 are usually the things in our top of our mind that we already know we should or shouldn't be doing. But remember, we are not supposed to should on ourselves, right? So I'm like, okay, not gonna should on ourselves. We have that mental note. And I decided I'm gonna do the what if dragon, right? Same dragon, same results, just a different color scale. And so, but what you'll find if you actually take these down to 10 in each one of these is you'll find in 5 to 6, you get a little bit different results. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you have to do a little bit of digging to find out what you truly want. And here is where I think, and I'd love for you to explore later on your own time, because it does be able to just explore what are some things that you may not be seeing until you take the time to reflect.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt to ask a question?
Sure.
The things to say no to, I just am looking at blank paper. Can you, I don't know what
And
that means.
thank you for that, because I will definitely say there is usually one section that's easier or harder depending on your personality or your perspective. And so I actually had more no's than I had yeses. But sometimes, and I changed the way I talked about what makes up your best life, because the original question was, what makes up an abundant life? And people had a real problem with abundance. Okay. But the no, I'll tell you a couple of my no's. 3 things I want to say no to. No to toxic relationships. No to free coaching. Oh, we're going to get down where we're living, right? And no to bringing on new parts of my business without having structure and support and ways to win. Those are some of the things. And so for you, it may be something a little bit different, but do the other 2 lists, and some of those will promote putting the no's. The no's will come. Like Liz says, ask the question, what do I need to say no to? What are the things that I am not saying no to now that is cluttering up my life, my business, and my time? I truly believe we have this much energy, time, and money every day. How we invest that is important. As you get older, that resource dries up more quickly. And so the things I say no to now, I, with joy and glee in my heart, refer them to other people that love doing that. For instance, I was raised working in a family business. I do not have any desire to coach family businesses, but I know other people who adore it, right? What do we know about family businesses? Usually drama, not my deal, right? Don't have any interest in coaching couples, right? Or doing marriage counseling, so not my deal. We do business and we touch life, but so just knowing some of those limitations, it creates nice, healthy boundaries. Does that help, Thursel?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'm glad you were my perfect plant in the room to ask that question. So this is us sitting down, reflecting, really talking through intellectually and kind of exploring what we want, looking very honestly about where we are. If we say, we want to go to Paris and we think we're in Rome, there is a different way of getting there than we're sitting in North Carolina. Okay, so it's about wherever you are, own that place, and then let's make the different changes. And I want you to take away the past. The past is not good or bad information. It's not good or bad experiences. It's just information. And what we do from here is what really matters. And so I'm gonna just let you know that today you're seeing my results, not my journey. So asking and for receiving help as a practitioner, why in the world would we do that? That would mean we don't have it all together ourselves. Why would we ever say that? And I am more confidently and boldly telling my story. Just so you know, I hid for years and would not allow, I ran from a camera for almost 10 years. And now I'm doing rebranding. You'll see some more pictures, and I'm actually starting to do some video and a YouTube channel. And it really has nothing to do with me or liking to see myself in pictures. It has everything to do with the people who are in the places where I was and needing some hope. And so in order to serve the people that you need, sometimes you have to give up your hiding places. And so that was me. And then updated pictures that I allow to be seen. Yikes. Still not comfortable, just so you know. So what happens when the unexpected happens? So knowing yourself, what do you do when the unexpected paths in business happen? When your business partner decides that they don't want to do any work. I'll let that sink in. When somebody else expects you to do 10 hours of free coaching. I don't know about you, but PGV expects good, hard, cold cash. For me, I've always wanted to keep my word, show up, and provide excellent value. Be careful when you put things out into the world, because the universe, life, God will always test you. Several years ago, I put out, I want to, and I've changed it. So I want to walk with purpose, speak the truth, and live in joy. Powerful stuff. And the universe, God, whatever, said, are you sure? Are you sure? Well, I have changed that, meaning being specific. My deepest desire is to walk in his purpose, speak the truth in love, and live in joy. Whole different way of doing your life and your center. And then recognize when you need help, and when it's given, receive it. That last piece was pretty powerful for me. And so I'll tell you, several years ago, I was on my way to teach a seminar, and I felt a tingle in my face. And by that afternoon, half of my face was frozen. I had had a bout with Bell's palsy in the past, and this one hit me in a nerve bundle. It affected my eyesight, my hearing, and my speech, and it tried to actually pass the median line. So as practitioners, you know that's kind of serious. And people were like, oh, you were running from cameras because you wanted to lose weight or you wanted to do this. And I'm like, no, I just want my face back. When you recognize that your face is that's you are the face of your business. It was pretty crazy. But remember, Candace said, I keep my word, I show up, and I provide value, right? So this happened on a Wednesday, and I was supposed to go and teach member success training on Monday, and I had a meeting. So of course I was there. And at the end of the meeting, I said, we were getting ready and I was going to have to teach the class. And I asked our director, I said, do you feel comfortable with me teaching? And he said, nope. Do you feel uncomfortable? And he said, nope. If you're comfortable, I'm comfortable. So I'm like, okay, how do I, as a speaker, pull this out? So I got up and I said, I'm sorry, only half of me showed up today. So if you can't understand me or you need some clarification, can somebody just do this so I know that I can re-explain it? Because again, my biggest thing was providing value, right? And so everyone kind of laughed and relaxed, and wouldn't you know it, people came in late. So I had to say it several times, right? I got done doing that presentation and I came back and I said, my only request was if I wasn't giving enough value that you were to step in, you didn't step in. And he said, it's the best teaching I've ever seen you do. It was a lesson that even in the unexpected paths, when you do what you're supposed to do, people are still connected to me so many years later because I did that. And so it taught me a lot about me. It did allow me to walk my talk. Would I do it again? I don't know. But in that moment, those were the things that really made a huge difference for me. It is the only picture, I only use it when I speak, and it just lets me know how far I've come. Now, if all of you know about Bell's palsy, it has a viral component. Yes, I had been sick before that, but it also has a stress component. So yeah, I'm not much into medication. I've got some chemical allergies. So for me, it was about learning to calm the BIP down. Oh yes, I said that in a presentation, right? Learning how to control some things here, change some lifestyles, and be able to do the things I needed to do in order to do my own self-talk, my own self-care, which meant I could not leave myself off my list any longer. And so I had to ask and receive some help. Now, this picture is very, very different. Here is my healing team. Here is my branding team. And I will say, I saw this picture for the very first time in a text. And I looked and looked and looked, and nowhere in this picture did I see the other picture, which had been in my mind. It had taken me almost 2 years to get all of my face almost back. I still get tingling in certain places, which means I'm too stressed. And there are still some residual weaknesses in my nerves. But in that picture, I couldn't find what was in my head that was keeping me stuck, keeping me from serving the people that I needed to do and to do that video work and so forth. I was just about to launch my YouTube channel when this happened, and I stopped completely. Now, if I had been truly confident and brave and bold, I would have done my journey from that first day all the way forward. Would it help a lot of people? Absolutely. Would it have killed my pride? Absolutely. And so some of you are braver than me, but in this moment, I cried because it changed what I saw and what I believed about me. What you believe about you is so much more important than what everybody else believes and thinks. And so I truly thank them for truly shifting me, because in my head, I had thought I looked like a stroke victim, and it stopped me. It made me back up, and it made me duck my head. And so doesn't matter how capable or how confident you are, if there are things going on in your life that stop you. And I will definitely say that you have the power of choice. You can either step forward into growth or step backward into safety. And so the biggest thing is I'm going to ask you, as a result of looking at your list and even exploring that further, what will you do differently today? What choices will you make? So this is a template for you to use now and forward. What will you do in the next 7 days? What will you do in the next 30 days? Because between your yeses and your nos and your best life, there's usually a gap. We're all coaches. We're all practitioners. Did you know that coaches need coaches? I do. Absolutely. And I have different people that I could never do what I do without. Because every once in a while, you will come out of your day, and I always say it's kind of like barnacles, and you're like, I have all this stuff on me, and it's not mine, right? It's like, woo, there's some crazy stuff, and it's just about like knocking the barnacles off, taking a mental break, and just, but you have all of those wonderful things that you've written down. That's how you do in your reflective, in your, just your quiet moments with us here today. What happens when the phone rings, something doesn't work, your industry shifts, something really crazy happens in your life or your body? How are those choices impacted? They always are. Either we double down and go face forward into what we're doing to try and deflect what we're not doing in other places, or we ignore it completely. So not making a choice is a choice. I'd love for you to kind of think about what you're stepping forward into, and knowing with the limited, if that abundant life or if that best life requires you to say no to things that you can make space for, have energy for, and just have mental and emotional capacity for you at the end of the day and those you love. It's important. So I would love to challenge you to make some powerful choices going forward. Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice that you made. If you want a different result, make a different choice. So I would challenge you to be present in your choice, to make a new powerful choice. Believe in yourself and in your goals. Don't just look to meet your goals, look to crush them. If you're not already setting goals and stretch goals, please do both. Because you'll find when you reach the goal, there's a lull. If you can reach the goal and start to stretch, it really builds the power of your belief forward. And then you're going to say, and I'm always asking my clients, so last month you had a goal of this, whether it's revenue, number of clients, butts and seats. Thursel, I hear you, girl. It's about being able to just say, how did I do that, right? So you may actually go through and say, I had an amazing July. What did I do 30, 60, or 90 days before that produced that result? And then how can I put that back into my business several times so I can produce those results again? It's not a fluke. It's not magic. It's not magic beans that we throw in a hole. It's the power of our choices. And then if you're not already doing so, please invest in your personal or professional. We're all looking to master what we do. And that means we fall down more than most. And then those reflective daily actions that I think make just enable us to make better choices. And then if you haven't already done so, and we know this, we teach this, but how many of you have daily, regular, sacred time for your own self-care? I see. So Thursel, I love you. You're laughing, right? But I would never have gotten to the crazy place that I was. I was literally, I had someone when I was working in corporate America. The reason I stopped working in corporate America, I had 70+ hours. I was on 2 boards. I had a marriage that was going crazy south. I was traveling all the time. I was doing amazing, stupid stuff that I should never have been doing. And I was like, wow, why in the world? So if you're never immune to crazy stuff, those were the lessons I had to learn to adjust my choices. Now, let me tell you a funny thing. About a year ago, I almost lost my dad, my fiance, and my brother in the first 6 months. They were all in critical condition. One was a dentist that didn't realize my dad was on blood thinners. The second one was my fiance made a choice to go to the gym instead of stay home by himself and paint. He had a heart attack, fell over. It was a widowmaker. He had people immediately helping him. The power of his choice saved his life, and he's here with me today. The third one, we think my brother just got double bacterial pneumonia. His choice to go to the doctor saved his life. He had to learn how to walk and talk and eat again. Crazy stuff. None of them were in my control. I lived at three to five different ERs but if I hadn't learned to take care of myself and do some of the things, I would never have survived that. And so just know the power of your choice makes a huge difference. Do it for yourself, do it for your loved ones, and just be able to say, hey, what do I do when I'm standing in reflection? What am I doing when I'm standing in the sunshine? And what happens when all hell breaks loose and a hurricane's about to hit, right? Because we never know. And then those powerful choices, I believe, take us into the best and brightest future. If you find that there are gaps, find someone that you trust, that you love, that is for you to be able to coach you to the next level. It's amazing when you're able to do that. And so I want to offer each of you, I do personal assessments. You're more than welcome to book that with me. I would love to be able to walk with you, not to coach necessarily, but just to say, hey, where am I? And what are my points of interest or next steps that can make more powerful choices in my life? I would love to offer that to you. And so I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to speak into your journeys today. It was truly a privilege to be able to speak to coaches because I couldn't live without you. So I love to say I work with leaders who elevate their life and business by investing their time, energy, and money with bold, authentic action to create world-class results. So thank you, ladies, for being those. For my Liz, because I love and adore her, and she thinks a whole lot of you. So thank you so much for letting me be here today.
Thank you so much, Candace. That was awesome. And I love when there are activities